Welcome to Cape Breton on the east coast of Canada for the launch of this all-new Subaru Ascent. They're three-row utility with up to 8 passengers. They've had a three-row utility in the past. It was called the Tribeca or the B9 Tribeca. They got rid of it. It didn't sell particularly well. They're hoping with this one they're going to be able to capture people's imagination. So they have a lot of standard equipment on this vehicle. They have a great starting price and a nice package because they have come into it late to the game, looking at what everybody else is doing and then modifying their product to tailor to the marketplace. So on size, it's closest in size to the Pathfinder or the Highlander from Toyota. They say, yes, they're going to compete with the Pilot and the Atlas, but those vehicles are just a little bit bigger. On the outside, you get standard halogen headlamps. Higher trim levels can be equipped with LED headlamps and LED fog lights. If you want to get a power tailgate around the back, you have to go one up from the base, starting around $40,000 to get the power tailgate, and that also gets you the moonroof. Wheel sizes are 18 inches on the base model. The top two trims come with 20-inch wheels. Let's get inside, we'll go for a drive, we'll climb around the inside, see if it's big enough for a family, and we'll tell you more about this all-new Ascent from Subaru. The Canadian launch of the Subaru Ascent was held on Cape Breton Island, part of Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia, or New Scotland, is rich with Celtic heritage, from bagpipes to other music, and especially fiddlers. The other reason so many people visit this beautiful part of Canada is to experience the many driving tours, or what islanders call trails. The most famous is the Cabot Trail, with 300 kilometers of twisting roads along the scenic cliffs overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. A perfect place to test this new Subaru and its new engine. So there's no V6 under the hood, there's no flat 6 under the hood. It's a 4-cylinder, turbocharged, direct injection, 2.4 liter. And it pumps out 260 horsepower, but 277 pound-feet of torque with regular gas. So that's good. And what they're saying at Subaru, the people that are here with us, you're getting V6 power with 4-cylinder efficiency. Now this has class-leading fuel economy if you take the Mazda CX-9 out. And they say that that 4-cylinder turbo that's used in the CX-9 is not really a fair comparison because it is smaller. So this is a bit bigger, therefore it's the class leader when it comes to fuel economy. And a big part of that, of course, is that they're using a CVT matched to this 4-cylinder. And I know you're thinking, come on, it can't be that great with a CVT. It's an in-house proprietary Subaru-built unit, and it works so well in the Turbo Forester, and it's doing a great job with this as well. And to be honest with you, you can't really tell, even driving here up and down the side of the cliffs along the Atlantic Ocean here, that is just doing everything perfectly well. So, you know, there is another company that uses a CVT like this in a similar product, and that's Pathfinder, but they have one here. So that's for you to decide whether you like that or not. The new engine, they tell me, is 6 kilograms lighter than the turbocharged 4-cylinder used in the WRX. And right away I said, oh, wait a second. So you can fit this engine in the WRX? They all laughed. Of course, they're not going to tell me, but you know, let your mind wander there. Hopefully we'll get this engine used in more Subaru products. Eyesight has also been a calling card of Subaru. People are going to the brand because they have a pretty advanced forward collision warning and autonomous braking system with the dual stereo cameras up behind the rearview mirror there. And that comes standard on every single Ascent. And they need to do that because Toyota has committed to putting their advanced safety system along with Honda on as many vehicles as they can. So Subaru, right out of the gate, starting at just around $36,000, you get that advanced safety system. Now, what is the ride like? This is the one surprise for me. I think that a lot of people are really going to enjoy the ride. First of all, because it's a boxer engine, the hood sits low, you have a big window, you can see out, but you don't feel like you're sitting that high. It's not like some utilities where you're towering over. You actually feel like you're a little bit lower to the ground. The step-in height is fantastic, big, huge windows, but when you marry that to a very comfortable ride, it's soaking up all of the bumps and undulations that this road has, and also doing it very quietly. When you push it, into the corners at higher speeds. There is some body roll, but it's amazing that they can tune the suspension to appeal to such a wide variety of potential buyers and situations. There are going to be more people that are in the market for a smooth, comfortable, yet responsive suspension and steering feel than those that want sort of a rock-hard suspension. So I guarantee you the majority of people are going to get behind the wheel of this Ascent and go, it drives really well. It's quiet, and that is definitely something a lot of people are looking for. Now, they had a towing demonstration for us this morning, and there is a 5,000-pound, beautiful boat, by the way, behind this Ascent, and they backed it into the lake at a very shallow, sandy beach, and then were able to pull it back out again, no problem at all. So this Ascent is rated at 5,000-pound towing capacity if you get one up from the base. So you're starting to see a theme here. Subaru really wants you to buy it one up from the base. Moonroof, power tailgate, bigger head unit, and 5,000-pound towing capacity, because when you go one up from the base, it adds an external oil cooler for the transmission that enables it to get that towing rating. That's how they do it. Even though Subaru does want you to spend $41,000 for the touring model, the base model does come nicely equipped compared to its competitors with things like standard roof rails, all-wheel drive, 3-zone standard climate control, and 2 USB ports in the rear. Now, Subaru, in my opinion, has always been a practical and a convenient brand. Have they been upscale and luxurious? Well, not really, but that is changing, and I'll point those things out to you in a moment. What I want to talk about is the convenience and the ease of use that they're known for, especially the second row and the doors in the back. They open up to 75 degrees, so that's amazing. They're big doors, so getting in and out of the second row is no problem at all, and the floor is perfectly flat, and I really like that. If you have kids getting in and out, not an issue. Now, in the second row, you can either get a bench seat or the captain's chairs. And Subaru is the only brand in North America that sells the second row available with cloth captain's chairs. Typically, you got to go to the top model to get captain's chairs. They're usually covered in leather. They're making that available on lower trim levels, but covered in cloth. Also, on top trims, you can also get those rear seats heated. Now, when you want to get into the back seat, even with the captain's chairs or the bench seat, it's just a one-hand motion to slide the seat forward and you can climb in no problem. Subaru, in my opinion, excels at this ease of use. And the third row is fine. It's going to be great for kids. It's going to be okay for adults. It's like everybody else in this marketplace. So on size, as I mentioned, the direct competitors would be Highlander and Pathfinder. Pilot is a little bit bigger, and Atlas is the biggest of them all. So the space between the tailgate and the seat back, they claim, is the biggest of its direct competitors, and there's more storage underneath. So the back seats really are quite comfortable and useful, and that's why people buy these. Now, if you want the big moonroof and the power tailgate, you need to go one up from the base, and that starts at around $40,000. Now the front, let's get into what Subaru didn't do particularly well, and that was making them feel upscale. And we're in the Premier trim. It's got all of the features you would want. It's got heated and ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel. It's got the upgraded leather. It's also on this part here, in the center of the dash, that's a different color. That's covered in what looks like leather. It might be vinyl, but on the cheaper trims, it's actually harder plastic. So that's a nice upgrade. So then the head unit. It starts with a 6.5-inch unit on the base model, and all of the other trims get this larger 8-inch unit. So you can see that Subaru really wants you to spend more to get the moonroof, the power tailgate, and the larger screen. So moving from $36,000 up to about $41,000. And it might be worth that spend to get the bigger screen. Regardless if it's the bigger, small screen, they all come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So the other great feature about Subaru, and they really spent a lot of time on this, is outward visibility. You sit in a Forester, probably one of the best vehicles for outward visibility, and this one's great as well, and big doors and windows. A lot of people are really looking for that in these because you got to maneuver them around, and they do that better than most. Because Subaru is known for its all-wheel drive system, of course, they took us on some muddy and rutted trails to highlight the 220 millimeters of ground clearance that's standard on all Subaru utility models. This Ascent also comes standard with X mode, an additional traction assist under 40 kilometers an hour. That applies additional traction and stability control to the all-wheel drive system. X mode also includes hill descent control. Well, color me impressed. I think this new Subaru Ascent has done so many things just right. I think on size, it's the right size for most families. There are bigger utilities. I mentioned the Pilot's bigger, the Atlas is the biggest of the group, but this is going to fit into most driveways really well in most families. It starts at just under $36,000. They want you to go up one to roughly $41,000. And then it goes up from there. There's the Limited at basically $46,500, and the top of the line Premier Edition, the one we're driving here today, is $50,000. So even on that base model, you get some nice equipment, standard all-wheel drive, and the engines are the same no matter which Ascent you choose. The ride is really comfortable. It's going to appeal to a lot of families. And Subaru really does know how to build very functional vehicles. They tried with the Tribeca. It didn't work out. They're back with Ascent. This one, I think, is going to stick.